میریم سراغ درس 13 هم Modals 1. 2 تا درس در مورد افعال مدال داریم. بخش اولش ability, possibility و alternatives to modals. توانایی، احتمال و یه سری جایگزین ها برای افعال مدال رو یاد میگیریم که طبق معمول با یه لیسنینگ شروع میکنیم. You're gonna hear 2 doctors discussing a patient. Before you listen, look at the newspaper headline and guess how it relates to a patient. 2 تا دکتر در مورد یک بیمار بحث میکنن. به هدلاین روزنامه نگاه کن و بگو که چطور به بیمار ربط داره. The Morning Herald. Does anyone know who this man is? بریم با هم دیگه گوش کنیم و سوال 3 رو جواب بدیم. True or false. و هر کدوم که غلطه جواب صحیحش هم می‌نویسیم. لیسنینگ شماره 13 هست.
Recording 13A.
Hi, Joe.
Hello, Deborah. Listen, have you had much experience dealing with amnesia?
Actually, yes, I have. It was a patient I had last year when I was working in a hospital in Canada.
Can you remember much about it?
Well, a man was brought to us with some facial and head injuries, and he couldn't remember who he was, where he lived, or how he came to be in Canada.
Oh, were there any clues at all?
Well, he spoke with a strong British accent, so the police realized he couldn't be Canadian. They took him to a language expert who said that he could have come from Yorkshire in England. The police also managed to find out that he could speak French and Italian, but he couldn't remember his name, address, age, or anything. Can you imagine what it must be like to have your whole life lost like that?
Yes, it must be awful. But do you think he was genuine? He might have been trying to run away from his past or something. People can do funny things when they've experienced something terrible.
Well, if he was, it certainly wasn't the best way to go about it, because his picture was in all the papers and on the news. He wouldn't have been able to fool everybody for so long if it wasn't true, I'm sure. At some point, he was bound to have said something to give it away. No, I think he really had genuinely lost his memory and couldn't remember anything.
He could have had a wife and children waiting for him somewhere, wondering what had happened. Do you know if he was married?
Well, he can't have been, because if he'd been married, his wife would have reported him missing.
Do you know what happened to him afterwards?
Well, apparently he's been able to find his parents, and now he's back in England living with them.
That's amazing. Did you ever work out how he had lost his memory?
Well, when he arrived at the hospital, he had a head injury and no personal effects, no wallet or phone or anything. We assumed that he had probably been attacked and robbed, and he must have hit his head, resulting in the loss of memory.
It can't be easy for his parents, living with someone who doesn't remember their past. They must be having a difficult time adjusting to it all.
Well, in my experience of these cases, pieces of memory do gradually come back. He may remember some things already, and over a few years he'll probably be able to remember quite a lot. He could make a total recovery one day.
خب این از listening. Number 1. The patient could remember all his personal details. گفتش که couldn't. The patient couldn't remember all his personal details. نمیتونست. پس این باید بشه couldn't. Number 2. The patient definitely came from Yorkshire. گفت که ممکنه از یورکشیر اومده باشه. پس چون گذشته هست باید بگیم could have come. The patient could have come from Yorkshire. پس میگیم definitely رو خط میزنیم میگیم could have come. Number 3. The patient could speak French and Italian. این درست بود. Number 4. Joe thinks that the patient might have been running away from something. از چیزی داشته فرار میکرده. این هم درست بود. Might have been running away from. Number 5. Joe thinks that the patient was definitely unmarried. باز هم گفت ممکنه متأهل باشه. He could have been. پس Joe thinks that the patient could have been married. Was definitely غلط. Number 6. The patient has been unable to make contact with anyone he knows. گفت که تونسته پدر و مادرش رو پیدا کنه. پس the patient has been able to, not unable. یا the patient was able to. حالا اون has been able هم خوب. Has been able to find his parents. Number 7. Deborah thinks that the patient can't have hit his head. احتمال میداد که سرش رو به جایی نزده. در صورتی که گفت باید سرش رو به جایی زده باشه. must have hit. can تو خط میزنید میگید must. و number 8 she thinks that the patient will never recover his memory. در صورتی که گفت the patient could recover. make a recovery گفت could make a recovery یا could recover هم درست. will never خط میخوره و could make a recovery. حتما لیسنینگ رو ترانسکرایب کنید، لغاتش خیلی مهمه. تمرین 4 underline these words in the questions and answers in exercise 3. کلمات could, couldn't, might, be able to, must, can't و will براتون هایلایت میکنم. could, couldn't, might have been اینجا گفته بود، اینجا able to داشتیم، حتی اینجا گفته unable to ولی خب able to هم هست. must, will، دوباره could. 1. Which words refer to ability؟ برای توانایی حالا جلوتر میخونیم can, can't, could, couldn't, be able to, manage to اینا استفاده میشه. اینجا could, couldn't و be able to برای توانایی بود. ببینید گفته بود که couldn't remember نمیتونست به یاد بیاره. could speak میتونست صحبت کنه و has been able to make contact یعنی قادر بود که تماس برقرار کنه. Number 2. Which words refer to certainty or impossibility؟ کدوم در مورد قطعیت و عدم قطعیت صحبت میکنه؟ خب اینجا must رو حتما داریم براش، can't و will. چرا؟ چون گفته بود که ببینید بالا رو must have hit باید زده باشه، certainty هست. will never recover یعنی باز هم داره impossibility میاره. can't have hit دوباره همون معنی رو داره. و مورد سوم which words refer to possibility احتمال. برای احتمال can, could و might رو دوباره داریم. خب اینجا مشخصا تاکیدش روی might هست. احتمالی که اینجا به کار برده بود patient might have been running away یعنی ممکنه یا احتمالش هست که این کار انجام داده باشه. دوباره اینجا گفته بود could have come from یعنی ممکنه اومده باشه یا از یه شهری باشه. پس می‌بینید که can, could, might, may و انواع اقسامشون برای possibility هست. اینا رو کامل توی درس بعدی بررسی میکنیم. فقط یادتون باشه که حتما لیسنینگ رو ترانسکرایب کنید و کلمات مهمش رو در بیارید. خیلی ممنون، خسته نباشید. تا درس بعدی که درسنامه مدال رو کار میکنیم. خدا نگهدار.